I got a feeling that you got me covered too. I got you covered. I got you covered.
Hi, everybody. Well, this is the last stream of 2025 or 24. We're not even to 2025 yet. Oh, my Lord. But this is the last stream where we've done Christmas Connection all the way through every day this month. So, this is the last stream as far as Christmas Connection goes of 2024. Next, we will be doing 11:30. We're going to ring in the new year together as a community and a family. So that is at 11:30, but that's kind of separate from what we've done. So this is kind of the last stream of 2024. I want to thank everybody for their support. We're streaming on and with the village. And so we're thankful that they are doing this. And I will go ahead and put their channel in the chat if you haven't gone ahead over and subscribed. Go ahead and do so. We are co-streaming with them. So we've kind of talked a little bit about we talked about, first of all, about goals, right? We talked about goals, okay, in 2025, because I never really liked New Year's resolutions. I've never stuck with them. So we talked about goals. Well, in that stream, it came to my little head, whatever memory I have in this head, right? That sat there and said, well, I wonder, because I said in that stream, and this is one thing about about doing a stream, is you have a lot of different ideas. And I just happened to say my dad, who we are doing this show in honor of my grandfather, who passed away 10 minutes before New Year's Eve, my papu, who was the most sweetest, kindest man on the face of the planet. He passed away today, New Year's Eve. And so this show is in memory of George Arups. Miss that man more than you know. But he passed away in 97 on this day. So this show is dedicated to his memory. But let's just look at that. We've looked at the fact that goals, and I started talking about the fact that, my dad was a type A personality. And I just thought in my head, I wonder if your type of personality has anything to do with how you set goals and how you accomplish goals. Because if you write a list, I think I have one in here. We've all done, is this one here? We've all done this, right? I got this. Every intention of filling it in. Do you see any filler-ins? No, that was for the month of what? This is another page. It doesn't happen. I have bought so many dang on plan books, and they don't happen to come into play, right? There's not one note. It's in my desk. I had every intention of writing in notes, being all organized, and I've bought them till I'm blue in the face, right? And it doesn't work for me. So we were talking about that, and I ended up saying, I wonder, because my dad was a type A personality. Just curious. And then I started looking. And I thought, okay, well, let's find out what type of personality I am. And we started asking that the other day, well, what type of personality are you? And I came up with the fact that I didn't realize there was 16 different kind of personality types. Now, I'm not talking about personality issues or multiple personalities. I'm just talking to how you're structured in your personality type, okay? That's what I'm talking about. So I realized that in the thing, when I was doing the research, and I will put in the test I took. It was real simple, My husband took it last night. I have to remember, give me a moment to think about what his personality type was. You don't have to put in um you don't have to put in an email into it, but it gives you an idea of what what type of personality you may have. And I ended up having a personality. So this is the free personality test that I took. And then this was a great resource too, as well, to dive a little bit deep into finding out a lot because they wanted to just give you a little bit of what the personalities were. But this gave you a little bit more depth into what the 16 different kind of personalities were. And so it gave you a little bit more information about um the personality test. And I know one of the people, Sandy Wandy, was on, and she said, I took it 20 times and I came back with the same personality. So I think it's important to make sure that you can understand that and be able to, you know, uh, be able to understand that that's how you set goals. So then, after we kind of figured out, okay, we need to understand the type of personality we're sitting with, right? We got to understand that everybody's going to set goals differently. If you give me a schedule, if you give me a thing, a set to do thing, I'm going to feel boxed in and I'm not going to like it, right? I'm just not going to like it. And I ended up being what they call an entertainer, which was an ESEPA slash ES. I think it was, no, was that what it was? I have to go back. Um, to go back to what it was that I took a picture of it because I knew myself. Yes, an ESFP. So it's a performer, it's an entertainer, and that's what I was done, what it came back as. And it gave you a little bit more detail. So then after we said, okay, now we've kind of figured out what kind of personality we have, how is it going to affect how we set goals? Well, I found another resource, and I'm no brainiac. I'm just looking up. You all can look this stuff up too. And I looked up and I found a website that gives your personality type and how you are affected by how you set goals. Well, I started looking at iPad files. I started looking at exactly what I was, and I started reading it going, oh, well, this is why. This is why this huge thing that I have in my desk that I had every intention of filling out is blank. It's exactly why it is. I'm like, okay, well, you know what? We have, and I can't remember when I bought this, but I think I bought it last year. We have, I'm supposed to be an IFG, but I think I need to retake it. They say you can't change, but I feel like I have. Misha, I think sometimes what happens with the personality test is I think that there's some of the things as I read about it for me that I thought, you know what, I'm like that, but I've gleaned some stuff off from my dad when it comes to detail oriented stuff. But it talks about each personality, and I will put this in the chat so people can see that. Um, they can see it and look once they find out their personality. Hi, Echo. How are you? According to the Myers-Briggs personality type, and Krista, Melinda, and I decided that what we're going to do is take these different. It looked like there was 16, and they were broken down in about 4 different sectors. And we're going to take each one of those in the next coming year and break them down from someone. Hi, Brian. Take them down from someone that is more knowledgeable than I am and help people understand it a little bit more. I'm just I'm learning this, and I was fascinated by it. And as my husband is reading his, I think, oh boy, if that's not him all together, it's like, yeah, that's you. That's you. Um, so for me, I need to explore all alternatives out loud first. Hallelujah. I'm not strange. When I saw that today, I was like, I do that. I absolutely do that. If this scenario's here, I'm going to talk about all the other scenarios that happen to nauseum sometimes. And my mom's like, you've repeated yourself. I have to explore all the alternatives to each situation. I have to do it out loud. I have to hear it. There's nothing wrong with me. And that was, to me, it was like, oh, thank you. you know, thank you that I hi Brazy girl, how are you? Thank goodness that I figured out that that's exactly who I am, right? I don't need to sit there and question that. I'm very thankful. So I was sitting there thinking, boy, that's just what I need. That's exactly, who I need to be, right? And it was quite uplifting, right? To be able to see that and realize that um that I don't have to feel you know uh bad about myself. I can look going, oh, that's normal. You know, I thought about it today, and I thought, when we have our 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 lives, right? When we're trying to put a square peg in a round hole, which is me trying to fill out um that that calendar, right? Awesome, I'm glad. When we're trying to fill out that calendar, well, that's not me. I'm trying to put a round peg in a square hole and it's not working, and I'm frustrating myself terribly. If we can accomplish so much more, guys, if we go with the flow. If we're not trying to, "Oh, I'm going to fix that thing and it's going to fit in there and I'm going to hammer it down and it's never going to go in." It's like a hurricane. A hurricane's going to go exactly where it wants to go, and there's not going to be too many things that is going to stop it, right? It's going to go exactly where it is. So if we try to fit our personality the way that we're going to set goals the best, do you imagine what we can accomplish? And just so everybody knows, I'm dealing with a little bit of a higher pain level today. I have fibromyalgia. So you guys are just kind of getting me how I am today. I just got out of the shower a little bit ago. My hair is wet. I'm just exactly who I am today. And just I'm here, right? I'm here, and I'm here and present, and I'm with y'all. I'm in a little bit extra pain today. So thank you for your all understanding. The next thing, right, is verbalizing the possibilities. That's me. you know, wonderful. I finally found me. I don't have to sit here going, why do I do that? Well, it's right there. Redefining goals continuously. Absolutely, I do that. Getting intimidated and argumentative if they feel their options are being narrowed. Yep, I do that. I absolutely do that. I want a plan, and if the plan isn't like this and people don't get the plan, I just have a problem with that. This plan should work, right? Move towards goals and burst of energy and inspiration. Oh yeah, I do that absolutely. When Christmas came and we had stuff for the channel that my mom needed done, I was in it when I could be, and I had those bursts of energy. Work spontaneously rather than methodically. Yes, absolutely. enjoying mixing well with play, and have a high tolerance for interruptions. Oh, yes, except when you're crocheting. Now, I could crochet for hours, but that was absolutely, I'm reading this thinking, well, no wonder I'm having problems. They tend to explore alternatives and possibilities with a great deal of time before they settle down to accomplishing a single objective. Yep, that's me. And so as I'm reading this, and you all are going to have your personalities different from what is going to have you set your goals, right? As I'm reading this, I'm realizing I've been trying to set goals the wrong way for years, and I haven't accomplished it very well because I'm not going along with the hurricane, right? I'm not going with the flow of the river and nature and everything. I'm forcing myself to fit in the square peg into the round hole, which is everybody go out and get a planner. Well, it don't work for me. So why am I doing this? I find it frustrating. I'm going to set a planner and I'm going to be on, and 2 o'clock comes, and guess what? 4 o'clock comes. At 2 o'clock I was supposed to do this. Well, 2 o'clock went bye bye, and the planner is somewhere I don't know, or it's popped up on my phone and I've ignored it or silenced it. This is not working. I'm frustrating myself. Don't frustrate yourself. Now, here's a little side note. We're going to talk about on the 2nd. We're going to talk about you found the fact that you have goals you wanted to set for 2025. We're taking New Year's resolutions, and if you want to, put them in the trash where they belong. Because I don't know about you. You can put twos in the comments, but usually this girl doesn't stick to them. They last for about 2 weeks. They sound great. They sound wonderful. Hi, Kristen. They sound wonderful. They sound great, right? And then all of a sudden, what happens? 2 weeks go and you go, oh, yeah, that New Year's resolution, well, I ain't doing it anymore. I got up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and not this girl. I got up at 6 o'clock in the morning and went to the gym 3 days a week. Well, today, I want to sleep in. So then before you know it, you're not going to the gym at 6 o'clock in the morning, right? So the New Year's resolutions, as far as I'm concerned, in the garbage. We can set goals around what our personality is. And I think that we're going to accomplish goals. Yes, absolutely, Misha. We're going to accomplish goals much better if we set it around our personalities. One thing it said about me was no matter what the goal, they want to argue about it for a while. I don't argue, but I do debate. Sometimes it can be very frustrating for, the situation and to get clear picture of exactly what EP's goals are. For EP's goals can change overnight or even mid-sentence. They can continue to refine things verbally and get feedback from others. I absolutely do that. And I will talk out loud. Probably people in the store think I'm crazy, but I'm not. It is I've for my entire life, I've done so much better verbalizing what I'm going to do and talking about, hi, James, how are you? Talking about this possibility and this possibility and this thing and this thing. Everything has to be talked verbally. And I thought, there's got to be something wrong with me. There's nothing wrong. It's the way I'm wired. So if I'm wired, I need to really get involved with figuring out how to make the round peg fit in the round hole for my type. And I'm going to encourage you all to do that. Now, on the 2nd, we're going to talk about what if, right? What if you have goals set, but you're dealing with a chronic illness? I deal with fibromyalgia on a daily basis. It's going to sound really weird when I'm going to say this, but I'm literally going to get off the stream. There are 2 things that must get done, whether I like it or not. One is setting up a Facebook group because we're going to be doing daily devotions every day. And my crew would like to have a Facebook group for that. So we'll be setting that up. And I have to do one other thing so that they understand the thumbnails before I release the video that's going to go out January 1st. And guess what? I'm going to bed. And if I fall asleep for the next 3 hours, I fall asleep for the next 3 hours. I've already had a 9-hour sleep, but I'm tired enough where my family is looking at me and saying, you look exhausted. And I've done it before. When I'm in enough pain, I could go to sleep for 10 hours, wake up for a couple, and go back to bed because I'm worn out from just the pain level. So anything that I had on plan, anything that was on that schedule book, guess what would happen? It's either going to be X'd and I'm going to modify it, or it's going to be moved till tomorrow. So now that we've kind of gone through the steps of identifying all that, we've set some goals for 2025. The next step in this whole process is, what do you do so you don't spend the time beating yourself up when you have a chronic illness, when goals that you have set don't happen? This is not a marathon. This is not a sprint, guys. This is a marathon. If you know that for someone that's not dealing with a chronic illness, you need 2 weeks or a day or something to accomplish something, you better extend that. You better say, you know what, those goals I want to accomplish, I need to give myself a couple days of padding room and not feel guilty about it. More importantly, if you have a family member, right? I have a family, thankfully, that understands. But to some people, they may think, you've just slept 9 hours. You're going back to bed and you've fallen asleep and you slept for another 2. Is there something wrong with you? Yes, I'm in pain and I'm tired. And if you don't understand it, I'm really sorry. If you would like to sit down and understand it, then you know what? That's fine. I mean, that our conversations all start with apologies. That's okay, right? It's fine. But it's the point of it. You don't have to sit there and feel guilty. You don't have to explain. You know what I tell people that don't understand it? If you would like to come live in my body for a day, go ahead and do it. I have this wonderful expression where it says, well, it's not an expression, but people say, oh, well, walk a mile in my shoes. I said, you know what? Walk 10. Then you'll get a better idea. So I don't need to explain it to anybody. I have goals of being more consistent in areas of my life. That's one big goal. Along with my mom and I want to be more consistent on the channel. But I also have to do it according to how I do it. Now, here's the really interesting thing. I'm going to have my mom take this test because how she needs to do things is very different than how I need to. When we started doing certain shorts on the channel, which I thought if we don't kind of keep track, we're going to repeat quotes, we're going to repeat Bible verses, believe what y'all want to believe. I'm just stating fact here. I thought if we don't find out a way of doing that so we can keep track of what we're doing, then we're going to start repeating stuff. Well, I took it to Mom. And I said, here's what I've started. You know what she did? And she looked and said, oh, this ain't going to work for me. Well, it's very clear for me. I understand it perfectly. It doesn't matter. She's going to be doing more and more of that. So it needs to be the way she needs to see it, not the way I need to see it. I need to understand it the best way that I possibly can. And we need to come up with a way that we can both kind of understand it and come together. But how she needs to see the chart is different than how I need to see it. And maybe there's a simpler way to do it. I just said, well, I'm just throwing this together. She said, let's come up with something that's going to work together. But understanding each other's personalities helps tremendously in understanding how we need to work together. And I almost think, quite frankly, not every job, but I think a lot of jobs would benefit from giving their people personality tests and finding out which way they work. Depending on, and being able to go around and say, well, they work this better this way and that better this way. Even just trying another person's shoes is a big step. Absolutely. Being understanding. It's important to listen to our body. Body keeps score. Absolutely. So it says about mine, and I'm just going through mine because I figured that would be a great example. Um, uh, have an exploratory style and hate feeling tied down. Well, that kind of goes into give me a schedule and you're going to see me go, no, thank you. Feeling tied down. If they're pushed towards one single goal too quickly, they feel confined, become rebellious, like doing things they have been done before. They're great prize independence. Yep, I am very independent. Um, because they tend to venture towards entrepreneurial objectives. My dad had a very difficult time working with other people. He did best working solo or working with one other person, but he was definitely an entrepreneur. They always like to get frequent changes of scenery throughout the process of achieving goals. They want to get up and move around and stretch their legs. That depends on what day I'm kind of having. Opening a new tab on the internet browser and so on. They it was important. I don't know if I totally enjoy lots of action, but they want to be moving around and getting their hands on things. That kind of goes when I'm sitting and I've got to have something kind of always, always in my hands. I just can I crochet? It's got to be something busy. And I know what this is going to say when I say it, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful in any way shape or form. But oftentimes in church, if I'm going to focus on the sermon, and it's not mean that the pastor isn't interesting or the topic isn't interesting, but I'll usually be doing something on my phone. And I will find if I have my hands busy, and my husband's the same way, if my hands are busy, right? Then I'm going to listen to the pastor. Hi, Barbie. And I'm going to absorb the message 10 times quicker. So if you have a child, just raising a child with autism and ADHD, if you have a child and you're sitting someplace in church or whatever and something, and you would like them to kind of focus, don't feel ashamed in the least by handing them a fidget toy to fidget around with. My daughter, just as a little side note, my daughter was in school, and there was a transition between a reading. There was a reading transition, and she go to reading, and halfway through they go to lunch, and halfway back they come back to reading, and then they would go to math in the afternoon, which was a terrible schedule. And she went into class, and she had a paperclip, I guess she had found from something, and she was playing with it. And the teacher came over and said, "Hand me the paperclip." She said, "Well, she wasn't paying attention." I said, "Ma'am, she was probably paying more attention to you with the paperclip in your hand than she was when you took it away. And if you take it away again, she's going to have about 100 in her bag. So don't ever take a paperclip away from my daughter." She was calming herself down. I guarantee you she was listening to you, but she needed to have something fidgety to be able to play and absorb the information. So that kind of goes into me understanding why I need something, you know. I don't really enjoy gambling or having a high risk tolerance for risk. I don't. That's not me. So I can say, yeah, that says that it's me, but well, that's ESP. I was on the wrong thing, right? Um, but I think some of them can certainly be that way. Um, here was interesting. Are more motivated to achieve their goals when there is a personal value that aligns with their object. That's me. If I have a friend, right, that I'd like to do a blanket for, I'm all in. I'm all in. There's something I want. There's something attached to that has some meaning, some personal meaning to me. And I will be all in. I may have three other blankets going, but I'm all in to accomplishing that blanket because there's a personal attachment to finishing that with inside of me. Are they animal lovers? Dog walker, 5K will probably help them stick with the exercise goals better than just walking alone. are also motivated to stick with their goals when they're working on a team or with other individuals. Absolutely. Having human compassion and encouragement keeps them focused and helps them, complete tasks that don't feel like a chore. That is absolutely me 100%. I want to bring people in. I want to have them a part of something. So I can tell you from just a spark of us sitting, and guys, this is why live chats are so important. It really is because ideas come across in a way that you may not otherwise think of how it is. It all started with my dad's a type A personality. And I think that maybe I could find out. He's no longer here, so he can't take the test, but I probably could take the test just knowing him enough and figure out what kind of personality he was. But he was much of a type A personality. And it all started with that to say, well, I wonder if personality has an effect on how you accomplish goals. Absolutely. And that's one of the reasons why on our channel we sit there and we say, guess what? Be proud of being yourself because everyone else is taken. You are one. There is not another of you. You are it. There are people that are twins and they have similar things, but you are unique. You have skill sets that are just yours. Everybody crochet, well, not everybody. There are people that crochet, but I can tell you that you probably will be able to pick the differences out, and everybody could do the same blanket, and there would still be little differences that you could probably pick out that could be able to say, that's theirs, that's hers, that's this, right? So we've got to find out what our personality is. And then we have to say, okay, this is our personality. The normal stuff is not going to work. If you give me a schedule and I put in all the wonderful things at 2 o'clock, I'm going to do this, at 3 o'clock, I'm going to do this, at 4, it's not going to happen. So why am I trying to fit into the world's way of doing things and goal setting and staying on schedule? It's just not going to happen. I've crocheted a few blankets, and it is quite relaxing. It does help me with pain. However, today I don't think that even crocheting would probably help, but we're going to get through this. At 11:30 tonight, we will have New Year's in Connection, so you can come on. We're going to put a stream and link in it for people to pop on and celebrate the New Year's. And tomorrow, we're going to be talking about, I think I've set it for 8 or 9, which is 8 p.m. CST time. And we're going to be talking about, hi, Crystal. We're going to be talking about how to deal with loss around the holiday season. And I'm not saying that every loss is easy, but I think that, my grandfather passed away New Year's Eve at 11:50. My dad at 12:30 on New Year's Day in 2001. My grandfather was 97. And I think that it's always a difficult time of year for myself. Other than the other people have passed in my family, but I find that this is very difficult. And this has been easier this year because we have really taken on the connection. We've been on that connection train, and we've done it. And there are certain times of year that I think that, my grandmother passed after my birthday, and that's hard. And my other grandmother passed, I can't even remember when she passed, but it was sometime in 93. That isn't as hard. So how do you kind of get through when you've got the holidays and somebody's passed around a special holiday for you and your family? How do you kind of get through that? I'm going to tell you the answer. It is connection. But how do we process that? How do we get through it? And what things can you do? Usually for New Year's Eve, we get little snacks and put them on the table and everything. And we just let people snack until the ball drops. Well, tonight we're not doing that. And originally we were going to go and pick up some fried chicken and have that. I don't even know if I feel up to that. So my mom said, just think what you want to have and we'll go out and get it, or we'll order it. Maybe it'll be pizza or whatever it is. Okay, well, that's good to know too, Misha. You know, there's plenty of people doing something so that you guys can get through going from 2024 into 2025 with connection rolling and happening. And all of that has had to change. So I'm going to encourage you, if this was helpful, to first of all, find your personality. Find out what your personality is and then embrace it. I want you to sit there and say, that's me. Embrace the strengths. Find out what weaknesses that you can maybe improve on. And don't do this. Don't look at all the weaknesses and say, okay, there's Mount Everest to climb. Take one at a time and see if you can improve it to your best of your ability to do so. Okay. Once you've done that and you've really kind of dived into finding out your personality and looking it up and doing all the deep dive on it, and that's impossible for us to do it here in this setting. But like I said, Kristen and I are going to come on and literally take 4 of them and go through and understand each one of them a little bit to help. But once you've done that, and you've understood it, you can go through and say, yes, that's me. And my husband went through, yeah, that's a lot of me. But there may be some things, right, that you can say, yes, that fits, it gives me an overall general view. But I can say, even though it says this or this, I have this. For instance, I can be very detail oriented if it's something that's important to me. A blanket is important. I want to be detail oriented. When we moved from Florida to Cincinnati, I had everything planned out, detail oriented as you could be, because my family was involved. When we moved from Cincinnati to up where we now are, my family was involved. Do you see a connection? My daughter got married. Boy, was I detail oriented about that, because it was my daughter's wedding. All of it came back to what it's telling me, which is a personal attachment to the event, so forth. But, you know, I have to work to be consistent. Now, some of that is the computer that we're working on right now is at times does not want to work like this body right here. And so we're trying to modify that so we don't have issues. And so part of it is like, I've got to turn the computer on and I have to fight with the computer. Well, I won't fight with it. I won't do it. And then what I do is I get behind. So being consistent has nothing to do with the people here. I want to show up for the people. I'm here today because of the people. I even said to Misha, I'm having a difficult day. She says, you don't have to do this. I said, oh no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be here for the crew because it's something that means something to me. I need it because today is a hard day. Pain-wise, emotionally, my grandfather is in my head, on my head, on my mind. It's there. Because everybody at 11, 12 o'clock was celebrating in 97, and we were in the bedroom crying. And it was a very, very difficult day. So when I hear those fireworks on New Year's Eve, it's like, what do you have to celebrate? I have nothing to celebrate. And then in 2001, everybody's celebrating. And at 12:30, we got the call that my dad was gone. And we all had the C plus mass, so we couldn't be around him, which made it even harder. So we've got to understand the personality. And then you have to stop trying to make yourself go into a square peg. You've got to make yourself go into the peg, right, that you're supposed to be in. And then you have to stand proud and tall when you look at that personality, look at the strengths, look at the weaknesses, take them on in little bits, not huge bits, little bits. You take on them too big, like New Year's resolutions, and they're going to fall flat on the face. Take them little bits. And you have to sit there and say, guess what? It's one of our emojis that our members can use. Proud of being me. It's our theme song from Scott. It's what you're going to hear when we roll out of here at the end. A portion on it. It's on our channel. It's our motto for 2025. Proud of being me. And you have to stand tall and say, this is the way I was made. Not everybody has to understand it or like it. If you set goals this way and you accomplish them, fine. That's not how I do it. And I don't have to feel guilty because I'm not doing it your way. Right? I'm going to do it my way. Now, if you're in a working situation, right, and you have to follow certain rules and regulations and all that, that's understandable, right? But if you're in the situation I'm in where I'm disabled and I can't go out and work because of my chronic illness, right? And I'm not in it for the monetization. That all goes to mama. And I told her that from the start. I just need the connection. It's good for my mental well-being for sure. If we realize that I don't necessarily have to keep a schedule. I don't necessarily like to keep a schedule because it makes me feel so confined. And I think it goes into too having to and what Echo is saying, everyone has to live their life the way that they're happy. None of us are exactly the same, and that's exactly true. But I think that it goes into, I think for myself, when I have to set a schedule and then 3:00 in the afternoon, a migraine decides to hit, or like today, I'm really tired enough, probably going to go back to bed for another 2 hours. Well, if I set anything for after 3:00 in the afternoon or 3:30 in the afternoon, guess what? It ain't going to happen. And then I'm going to say, again, you see this on the schedule and you didn't do it. I'm going to feel guilty. So I have to find the way of setting goals in a way that I cannot, first of all, beat myself up if they don't happen, give myself flexibility, and work within my personality type and say, I'm proud of being who I am. And you all need to go into 2025 being proud of who you are. You have gifts that this world needs. You have gifts to share with other people. You have all different. And I'm so glad that I have the opportunity of getting to know so many different kind of people. I find it tremendously fascinating. Now, one of the things we're going to be doing in 2025, and actually Kristen was wanting to participate in there. Hi, Alfonso. Was talking about a little bit of a deep dive into Elvis. Well, you know what? I know that that's not for everybody, but this girl's an Elvis fan, so guess what? You're going to indulge me. But I think that we can learn a lot from him and his life from a fan's perspective and a fan's way of looking at it. Because, again, we are not perfect, right? We're not perfect. None of us are. And we can do it in a respectful way, showing exactly what different types are not different types, but are his struggles and difficulty, right? Yes, I did, Alfonso. And I'm in the chat on my side. I don't know if it'll show up on the village side. It's going to be the thing I found that says, okay, this is your personality type. So this is how you should be setting goals, which I think is so important. But we're going to go into 2000, or talk about his life and his struggles and showing more of him than what you saw on the stage. And I think it's important. I think we can learn a heck of a lot. And I find it absolutely fascinating. Why do I find it fascinating? You go back to your personality. Why do I find it fascinating? Because it's personal to me. I found Elvis and I hooked on. Through that, I found I had two grandmothers, God love them, but one dealt with a mental illness. One was very critical. Through that, I found a wonderful group, and I found a grandmother that I could actually kind of adopt. She needed a grandchild, and guess what? She couldn't have any. She didn't have any of her own, and she wasn't going to have any. And I became that. And my dad and I connected with Elvis, and then when my dad had dementia, I was able to put on his songs and Elvis's songs, and we connected in his movies. And then way down the road, I found the lifeboat. Why? I found the lifeboat because of looking at, why Priscilla and Lisa got into Scientology. I'd have never found you all if it hadn't been for that connection. So I have a very special place in my heart for that. And I want to share it with everybody else. I want to be able to say, let's look at him. And if it opens the awareness of mental illness, and not being ashamed to look at it. Everybody struggles with things, no matter what it is. It's why we're a part of a village. It's why we're a part of a community. It's why it's so important. If people don't believe you can find community and friendship here, you certainly can. Right? Today is the day. I've got a lot of loose clothing on. I'm all snuggled up. I can't go very far. If anything's going out for food, it's not going to be this girl. It's just not happening today. But I'm able to connect with you all on an amazing level because of this wonderful thing. And I think it was, to remember who it was, Crafty Witch. She came up with a great thing because I said, you know what, maybe it would help. And that's why we have the lighthouse beacons. Maybe it would help to be able to have like connection buddies. I think a wonderful idea. And being able to have accountability happening and peer support happening and having somebody that you can connect with holding you a little bit accountable to whatever your goal is and kind of helping you push a little bit. I think that's a wonderful idea. And maybe every so often changing them up and having a new connection buddy, because what are you going to do? You're going to make connection. You're going to build a relationship. And you're going to have somebody hold you accountable. You're going to have a deeper connection with somebody by doing that. Guys, it takes 200 hours to build a connection with somebody. There are people that we connect with pretty instantaneously. That's the first level of it. But if we go deeper to really build that connection with somebody, right, it takes 200 hours. We've done foolisher things with 200 hours, haven't we? We really have. And so we have to be we have to make sure that we are intentional on how we build our connections and make it part of our lives, that we're building connections, we're getting to know people. I'm challenging everybody in the 2020, the year 2025, is to start looking at YouTube channels and don't look at their name first. How often do we get to do we meet somebody and look at their shoes first? No, we look at their face first. So go look at their channel, go visit their community tab. What are they doing? If you start looking at somebody's community tab more, I guarantee you it'll show up your feed more. Start looking at their lives. Are they doing lives? Are they building a community? Are they building connection happening? Look at their videos. Look at their lives or their shorts. And then maybe look at their name. I think that if you came into my channel or my mom's channel, if you came in and you looked at the name first, Blessed to Crochet. Well, I don't know how to crochet, so I'm not interested. Well, guess what? If you're going to come into this channel and look at that first, then you got us all wrong. The reason we've kept the name Blessed to Crochet is because it's catchy. But because you know what? We can say here, we're blessed to crochet. What are you blessed to do? And do is in multiple things. I can crochet, I can paint pour, I can cross stitch. I'm a good communicator. I love people. I mean, there's a lot of things that I can do. So don't necessarily pay attention to the name, because I'll be the first one to say we're not teaching you how to crochet here. There's plenty of places around the YouTubes that will teach you how to crochet. Come in and let's connect. Let's meet each other. Let's get to know each other. Let's spend time. I'm not for everybody. You're not for everybody. But we can still form a village and glean a lot of knowledge off of each other. The magic happens in the chat. It doesn't happen with me. There is stuff, if you go into bigger channels, that you sit there and go, you learn a lot from just watching people talk within the chat. I think that having this Thanksgiving stream that has been going on, the Thanksgiving one that lasted for 24 hours, the Christmas Eve and Christmas Day that lasted, this one that's happening New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, I think is wonderful, because it's you get to have connection when you need it. You get to dive into it, you get to be a part of it, and you're going into people that you already know. But you can do your part in the audience to share. Take that little share button on each video, right? Take the share button and say share, and go share it on your social media. It does make a difference. Those that know, my aunt has been diagnosed with stage 4 liver and lung cancer. And she has a GoFundMe page, and kind of was dormant for a while. And we've had to kind of reactivate it again, because she can't work now, and she's under hospice, and she needs to not have to worry about bills at this time in her life. She needs to enjoy what time she has available to her. But my point of it is people have started to take that little share button. It's not to have anybody contribute. I'm just saying, take that little share button, right? And take it and hit the share button and share it out. Well, in the past 2 days, there is money now in there that she had to pay her bills that she needed to hit the first of the month, just because somebody hit the share button. So why I'm saying that? I'm saying that because I want you to realize you all have the power to take that little share button and share YouTube channels that are doing good things, right? And good things, and being able to spread good things and connection and all that kind of stuff. You have the power in your hands to sit there and say, okay, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and share this because this is a great page, right? Thank you. If anybody wants to share it, I'll put it on my side too. Like I said, I'm not, my aunt is very grateful for anybody at this point just sharing it. I'm not asking anybody to contribute to it, but if you can have the ability to share it, maybe somebody that is able to help a little bit can. But my point of being able to talk about that was to be able to, be able to say that there's power in sharing. There's power in sharing those little things, so that this woman who is dying of cancer, right? And she made it through Christmas. Her birthday is January 10th, and my chair is going down. It lasted until it wanted to go down, right? It lasted all the way to the end of the show, right? Which is fine. That's exactly what she made it through Christmas with her daughter one last time. Her birthday is January 10th. She's made it through January 10th, which is all I wanted for Christmas. And there's people sharing this on on their social media, and people are contributing, so this woman doesn't have to worry about paying bills or being homeless. She just gets to enjoy what little life she has. She's even said, you know what, the hardest thing for me to do is actually eat, because when I eat, it hurts so bad after I eat, even if I just eat a banana. That is so hard to hear. I don't want her to suffer. But I'm glad she's here and maybe one more birthday, right? But my point about sharing that was not so people can contribute. If you can do anything else but take it and put it on your social media, that is a blessing because it may get in front of the person that is able to assist. But my point is, you all have the power to take pages like ours, copy a live, put it on your timeline, take things from the village, put it on your social media and say, you all have to check out this YouTube channel. You've got to check out this live. This channel really is doing some good things. You all have the power and helping bring new people in your community into it, because I think a lot of people honestly don't realize the power behind social media. That YouTube is just a place of so just YouTube's just for videos. No, it's not. It's for live streams and community and people to come together. And I think people are somewhat missing it. Hi, No Face. I really do. I think honestly, they're going to miss it. And if they don't look at it. Now, we're going to take just a moment. I think that this is kind of important. I know this is going to sound silly. Still have my Christmas stuff up, but we're going to get some pre-recording done for next year. I'm going to play the song and it's going to sound very weird because Christmas is over and I played it for Christmas, but I'm going to play it again. And this is done by the gentleman that does our outro and our intro. I was able to take that music off of his record and be able to do it. And I want you to keep something in mind because we're going to talk about it on our channel throughout the year. I know it's going to sound strange. I want everybody to keep Christmas in their heart all year through. What does that mean? The spirit of love, the spirit of connection. We get together at Christmas time, right? And we see all our friends and Thanksgiving and all that kind of stuff, right? And then at Christmas, everybody departs. And you don't talk to everybody for several months. And then you kind of come back when they have a birthday and then you leave. Let's keep the connection. You'll see throughout that video, you're going to see family, 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 right? You're going to see, that connection happening. You're going to see that coming together. Let's keep Christmas here, which means love, right? We're going to show love. We're going to show compassion. We're going to stay connected. Doesn't have to be holiday. And we're going to keep Christmas in our heart all year through. I want people to remember that. The act of giving of, if you can't afford financially giving to help somebody, give of your time. It is a tremendous, precious gift. I don't think we realize the importance of being connected, right? Being connected and having those connections as a precious gift. It is free. And let's keep that. So we're going to play this song real quick because I just think it's just, I hope we can keep Christmas in our heart all year through. It's changed how I've looked at it a little bit. So give us a minute. At the very beginning, it's going to have Scott in a conversation prior to that's going to tell you how important that it is that his music's finally getting heard. One thing about Scott, if you don't know, he was blind from the day he was born. He cannot see. And he is now in his 70s. This was done about 2005. And he has had an injury, so he's unable to play anymore. But he's just thankful what music we have we can share with the world. And his music is finally getting heard. So let's take a moment. Let's keep Christmas in our heart all year through. And you guys do some connection happening in the chat. And be proud of being yourself. I don't think I did it on this. I had the phone call. So it's on a video. I'll put the video in the bottom. But here's the song. It's me.
Well, it's time to make your Christmas list.
That's my
a
papu.
problem that you dread. What to give to your Aunt Caroline what to give to Uncle Fred. Every year the list gets bigger, and gifts are hard to find, it's true. But have you forgotten what to give
Christina,
to you? There's a gift that you can give yourself with a very simple touch. But if you ignore this Christmas gift, all the others won't mean much. Though the gift is inexpensive, it's the most important part. 'Cause the thing to do with Christmas is to let it in your heart.
All year, guys, all year.
You've got to let it in your heart. Gotta make the feeling show. Gotta make the spirit come alive with a very special glow, like the child born in Bethlehem.
That's Patty's last visit with us from Huffbug in August of this year.
And to understand the Christmas way to live.
That's Josh's dad.
And you'll find your new gift goes so well with anything you'll buy.
That's Christina's husband.
More than
Garrett.
just some flowered handkerchief or crazy colored tie. And you may just want to pass it on, 'cause the feeling feels so new. Not only Christmas Day, but all year through. You've got to let it in your heart. Gotta let the feeling show. Gotta make the spirit come alive with a very special glow, like the child born in Bethlehem, who taught us how to give and to understand the Christmas way. The Christmas way to live. You've got to let it in your heart. Gotta make the feeling show. Gotta make that spirit come alive with a very special glow, like the child born in Bethlehem, who taught us how to give and to understand the Christmas way. The Christmas way to live.
There's Mocha. Guys, it's about the people. Make the memories with the people surrounding you. Love them. It's about the connection, right? It's so meaningful. We're going to take a moment yes, I love that song. We have about 20 songs of Scott's, and they will all be released slowly but surely. He's just so thankful that his music's being heard. We're going to take a moment. It's never expected. It is appreciated when it does happen. We do have our channel members. They do help support the channel and be able to provide some extra content. And we do have a saying for those people that are new here, and that is disco ball is made up of bunches of broken pieces of glass. You're not broken. You're a disco ball. We have two levels. We have a 99-cent level, and that's a thank you very much. And then we have the blessed disco balls, because you guys are awesome disco balls, and you need to be proud of shining bright, just the way we are. So we're going to take a moment and just thank our channel members. We're appreciative of everyone. We're just very thankful for the support from our channel members.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And who helped? We got to see Elvis, right? So anyway, just a little thank you for everybody that has come in today. Thank you for the village for having us on. It is appreciated. We're glad that we could support. We'll be on tomorrow at 9 p.m. with the Village 2 co-streaming. We'll be on tonight at 11:30, bringing in the new year connection style. And so thank you so much for joining us. We are so grateful for each and every one of you. Remember, stay connected, you all. It is so, so important. Remember, be proud of being yourself. Why? Because everyone else is taken. And remember, we got you covered. Thank you so much for having us covered. And Happy New Year. If you all don't come back for the 11:30 ringing in connection style on Blessed to Crochet, Happy New Year. And let's help each other set goals, but the way our personalities work the best. Be proud of being yourself. You guys are awesome disco balls. We love you all. Love you, Misha. And thank you, everybody, for hopping on in. Goodbye, 2024. See you next year if you don't come back for the 11:30 show. Talk to you all later. Bye-bye.